Okay, we're going to move into the regular portion of our meeting. And we will start with the pledge to the flag. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll begin with my president's report. At the last meeting, I mentioned Spray, Spray, Spray from the Wanamassa Steam Tank. They are finalists now, and they are also featured in this month's School Leader magazine. This group has been invited to attend the New Jersey School Board Association workshop in Atlantic City, October 24th through the 25th. And I believe they'll be presenting that first morning, Tuesday, the 24th. They'll present their project and be awarded prize money. I'm very proud of, we're all very proud of the steam tank finalists from Wanamassa. We wish Spray, Spray, Spray the best of luck. Also, our summer bridge program at Wayside, TUIS, and Ocean Township High School, including our ESY, they're having a great summer. You can follow along on social media, our Instagram account at Home of the Spartans, and you can see things like little piglets being brought in for the students, and I know that they have lots of other great things planned for our students during the summer program, so take a look. Our administrators will attend their summer professional development program Monday through Wednesday this week at the board offices here. And my final comment has to do with our new board goals. I know that one of our goals is to support the improvement and technology related to security. And I know there have been some questions about our security teams. So we are working on that. I know that our team, our technology, our security teams will be meeting and upgrading any technology. The curtain wall that Mr. Cass referenced is going to be, did you say they're getting ready to?
They're doing prep work, yep.
Yes, they're doing the prep work for that. So we hope to achieve that board goal and continue to work on our goals for 2024, which may include PD for board members. I believe Ms. McGovern, you brought that up. So we'll see what we can do. And that's my report.
Trust falls.
They'd be great. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Yes, our summer programs are well underway, and you did mention some of the highlights, but there have been some other class trips for our Spartan schools. They've had wonderful experiences. The program at Wayside School and TOIS. All of our summer programs are off and running and doing well. This evening, I'd like to give, it is the twice a year, we have to give the violence, vandalism, harassment, intimidation report. So this is the second reporting period for the year. This evening, I am reporting out on events that took place from January 2023 through June 2023. Ms. Conway, you can bring that up if you have it there. And what you see there is a comparison of the same type of events last year from January to June compared to this year, January to June. Thank you. First, you have the HIB summaries. You'll see there the nature of the incidents and then the mode of the incidents. In what way were these harassment, intimidation events carried out? And we have a slight decrease from last year's second reporting period to this year's second reporting period, but still 24 incidents, more than we would like to be reporting out. On the next page, if you continue on, you'll see the breakdown by school and the nature of the investigations that took place and our timeline related to that, the number of investigations and the number of events that were found to be HIB confirmed. And again, you have on the top last year for that same second reporting period, and then below this year's January to June 2023. Okay, and then on the third page, you have our incidents of violence and vandalism, and those are broken down for you by violence, vandalism, weapons, substance abuse, and then the final column there is the HIB information that is already reported on the first 2 pages. Okay, and as a practice, we do report this information to the Board of Education and to the public for September to December, and then January to June. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Weldon.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Mr. Weinstein.
So, Ms. Walden, what are you thinking about the jump in that sexual orientation part? Like, is that something that?
It's absolutely something that we are taking a close look at and looking to address. We do this every year. We review over the summer. As Mrs. Gilman said, we had our administrative retreat this week. We have our final day tomorrow, but we do dive into this information. We look at trends in our schools. We have school safety, school climate teams in every school that review the trends of the incidence of HIV and see what prevention programs we need to develop to try and get ahead of something that may be happening in our schools and try to turn that in a better direction.
Was most of that, do you know if most of that number was a middle school or a high school number? Do you know about that?
Which one specifically are you asking?
The sexual orientation from the 3 to the 8.
I don't know that off the top of my head, no.
Mr. McCarthy?
Happy to table this question, but the enrollment numbers that were reported, I did just have a quick comment on a few of them and a question. I know that we aren't able to disclose that to the public because of certain personally identifiable information inside of it. Is this an okay place to ask a couple questions about this?
Sure.
We are seeing an increase of 41 students in enrollment total. Do we have any idea what is causing that increase? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but based on our projections that we've received from the demography study that we received in the district, this is not a number that I anticipated seeing. Do we have any clue what's causing this?
We are happy about our kindergarten numbers, but I also think preschool is definitely having an impact on that as well.
25 students in the preschool, 9 students in the 25 additional over the course of the year, or what is being reported right now? Is that number?
35 actually next year.
Than last year because of the new classrooms.
So these are projections or these are actual reports?
No, these are actual.
Okay.
These are actual. And some of it absolutely can be compared for the public. It's not
Absolutely.
that. It's that we did not prepare it as a discussion item because there was really no need to discuss it.
This is a great thing for our district. It's not being pointed out as though it's a problem or anything like that. This is a wonderful thing to see. So I want to highlight, we have a total, we're reporting for 2023, 2022 to 2023 school year, September to June. We're seeing a positive increase of 41 total students in our district, 25 in the preschool, 9 in the kindergarten, 16 specifically added to the Wanamassa School District, 21 added to the Wayside School District. I mean, these are positive signs for our district where we have been told otherwise that we could expect worse. I hope that this narrative does get out to our town, that we are a growing town and that new families are moving here, because it's important for them to know that. And they're choosing to send their kids to Ocean schools. It's something we should be proud of.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Yes, Ms. Tortorella.
Ms. Weldon, on the weapons and substance, those went up dramatically.
They did. They
So
did go up.
just not to belabor the point, but assuming that was discussed this week. as well.
Absolutely a concern.
Last week we talked about, I think it was last meeting, the grant from Human Services
The opioid.
Yes.
for opioids. So
Substance
that will
abuse.
be
Yep. So that's
an
part of what we're doing. We think that although this won't address weapons specifically, we believe all of the work that we'll be doing around mental health, some that we were already planning to do, some that will be enhanced by the funding we hope to receive from the Senator Gopal's, efforts, will also go to work towards creating healthier students who don't need to be using or bringing weapons to school.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, that's under our finance, the funding for the opioid crisis.
May I s-
Yes,
Ms. Weldon, you spoke about your
administrators meeting. Do you know a date yet for the new teacher seminar, the new teacher?
We do have the date,
orientation?
I believe it's August 21st.
Okay,
21st
so
is the
August
Monday.
21st is the day you would like the board to.
We'll
be
send
here.
an
We have-
email. Yes, usually it's that first day, that Monday, the 21st, I believe is the Monday.
Thank you for your. Thank you.
No problem.
Anything else for the superintendent? Yes,
Is your superintendent report over or is this, I'm not, am I not seeing the Monmouth University polling?
That was just didn't work.
I know, and that's when I had questions and then you guys said we're gonna go over it in regular session. All the,
No,
all
No,
the
no, I was just
pages.
saying that was their presentation. We weren't presenting it. We were sharing it.
so you can go through it at your leisure. We were not going to discuss it.
We were not going to discuss it.
Well, we were going to discuss it if there were questions in the
Yeah,
work.
that's what I.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, there was some really good information in there. But there were some complaints, I guess, from parents. So I'm assuming this was an anonymous survey. I'm assuming, like, it wasn't, you didn't put your name down and whatnot. How are we, attempting to address some of the complaints from parents in that report to make this the best district, to sell this district if we need to even sell it to our own parents, but there were some parents that exhibited some paraphrasing, dislike of some programs,
Mhm.
which is unfortunate. I mean, I don't echo those sentiments.
Right.
So how do we combat that, those feelings?
So I do feel like I commented to that in the work that Mrs. Kazuba is reflecting on that data with her team. And they are making changes to some of the offerings and some of the outreach to our middle school age students and their parents to continue to grow our programs, much like the partnership with FDU, and to advertise that we have all of these other opportunities for our students. It's a work in progress. It's not, I don't have a succinct answer for you because I do believe it's many different things. I think it's about celebrating our schools, as
Yeah.
Mrs. Gilman said, following our Instagram, and that may seem simplistic, but to get a better view into our district and the different things that we are doing to work on better communication efforts, all things that we've talked about over the last 3 days as a leadership team, and all things that we will be working on as we move through the upcoming school year.
I guess I was getting at the communication piece, so I appreciate that. Like, how do we spread the word more? So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Weinstein?
Was this the same survey done last year or was this the first time?
This was a separate activity
Activity?
through Monmouth University.
Do you plan on doing that same activity again?
It is not, it was a Monmouth University project and they came to us.
Okay.
Well, through some communications, they then came to us.
So it may not be done again.
Yep.
Unless they approach us.
Okay.
School Business Administrator, Mr. Cass, anything else that you need to address?
Nothing to report.
All right, we'll move to public comment regarding agenda items. Okay, the first session open to public comment on agenda items only. The second session at the end of the meeting can be on any topic. Would anyone from the public like to comment on any agenda item at this time? Ms. Conley?
Madam President, there is one commenter, Mr. Keith Chapman.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Chapman.
Please go ahead.
Good evening. Does this include comments on what I heard earlier?
I'm sorry.
Agenda.
Does the agenda items include comments on what I heard earlier about the ethics complaint?
No, this is only for agenda items. You'll have to wait for the second public comment session, Mr. Chapman.
Well, you talked about fixing the system, right? Well, if we talk about fixing the system, I think we have to fix what is wrong first before you can sell it to anybody. Because actually it is on the agenda, since it was mentioned about fixing the system. But I'll wait. Sorry.
I would appreciate that. Thank you very much for your patience. We vote now on our action items, approval of minutes. If there's no one else, I'm sorry, Ms. Conway, was that the only public commenter?
Yes, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. McCarthy?
Move to approve the meeting minutes from the July 11th, 2023 meeting pending the additions added in the work session meeting. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mrs. McGovern. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Personnel?
Yes, Mrs. Gilman, I have 13 items this evening, but before I put that motion through, I just would like to read a portion of 6.13. I move to approve that contracts be issued to, give me 1 second. And forgive me if I say the name wrong, but Kason K. Jackson as assistant principal at the Ocean Township High School. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to move items 6.1 through 6.13. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cass?
Dr. Beal,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Ms. Pallamas,
Yes.
Ms. Tallarico,
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
motion passed.
Well, congratulations and
I would like to formally congratulate Mr. Jackson and welcome him to the Spartan Leadership Team. We're happy to have you join us.
it's great. And thank you, Ms. Parlamas. Financial management and resource?
1 second, I'm pulling it up. Board of Education moves to approve 7.1 to 7.20. Second.
Dr. Beal,
Actually, I have a question regarding 7.9, if I may, Madam Chair.
Certainly.
For the Title IV, Part B,
Mhm.
the 21st Century Community Learning Centers program. Is that the out of school time, which focuses on before school and after school time grant?
we reallocated it to Title II.
Yeah, no, that's not that. Title I allows for before and after school time. There is also another grant that does start with 21st Century that you may be thinking of.
So
Positive.
the Title IV, Part B, 21st Century Community Learning Centers program, is that the same as the out of school time? Because I'm not aware of another 21st Title IV, Part B.
I would,
And the reason why I ask is because it's a federally funded program and there are 62 grantees and Ocean Township is not one of them.
correct.
So I'm wondering how you're transferring funds from a grant the township doesn't have.
Title Part B is part of the ESEA, ESSS funding. I'm not sure if that's the exact title. That is the correct wording. We can double check that, but
All right.
it is not the grant that you are thinking of. There is Title IV is a part of this ESEA, ESSA grant application, and it is not the same one that you're speaking of.
Okay,
So
so
we have
that,
applied for that one before, and as you said, we did not win it. So I'm familiar with it, and it's not the same thing.
okay, so that
We'll double
title
check.
will be corrected.
We'll double check that title and
Okay.
correct it. Yes, that's incorrect. Sure it is.
I just have a question about the use of facilities. I see that the Greek church will be using our parking lots. Did the Italian festival ever?
I'm not sure that
Apply
that
for
use of
our
facility came in
use of
on
funds?
time.
I mean,
Forgot to check with them.
yeah, I didn't hear anything about, but they know they can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, they did reach out to us, but
Yeah.
I didn't speak
Yeah.
with Mr. Bosman's office today to find out if they submitted it on time or not.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Ms. Hayes?
Just for point of clarification on 7.12, I probably should have asked this in the work session as well. For those folks who aren't aware of the non-public school aid program, can Mr. Cass go over the $500,000 that we have to give to the non-public religious schools in town? Can you just explain the relationship and whatnot?
So like the rates are determined by the state. It's based on the enrollment in those schools. So it's awarded based on the enrollment that are within our geography. So the easiest way to explain it is we administer the money as like a pass through. The money comes to us and they tell us how they'd like to spend it in those respective programs. Like with textbooks, they buy textbooks for the kids is like the easiest example. We have the breakout attached, like for which schools got exactly how much money. And we have that upstairs also if anybody needs to see it.
So they tell us how they want those 4 different categories. It's not based on like their enrollment or what, like the textbook, technology, nursing, and security is their discretion.
The enrollment drives it. It drives how much they're going to get.
Yeah.
And then,
Their enrollment.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
Okay.
many students they have.
Thanks.
There are
I
no
think I
further
gave a second.
questions, then you would like to call for a vote?
Dr. Beal?
Yes to all except for 7.9. I'm going to recuse myself for professional reasons because of the way it's written.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. McGovern?
Yes.
Ms. Parlin?
Yes.
Ms. Talarico?
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes to all except 7.18. I recuse for professional reasons.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman?
Yes,
Motion passed.
thank you very much. Instruction, education, and student activities, Dr. Beal?
Move to approve 8.1 through 8.11 and move to affirm 8.12.
Second.
Second.
Tortorella got it. Sorry to call you by last name.
Dr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. McGovern?
Yes.
Ms. Parliamis?
Yes.
Ms. Talarico?
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman?
Yes, thank you very much.
Motion passed.
Negotiations, Ms. Talarico?
Thank you. Move to approve 9.1. Can I have a second?
Yes.
Second.
Dr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. McGovern?
Yes.
Ms. Parliamis?
Yes.
Ms. Talarico?
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman?
Yes,
Motion passed.
right. Policy, Mr. McCarthy?
Move to approve item 10.1. May I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. McGovern?
Yes.
Ms. Parliamis?
Yes.
Ms. Talarico?
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman?
Yes,
Motion passed.
thank you. Public relations, Ms. Tortorella?
Move to approve items 11.1, 11.2.
Second.
Dr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. McGovern?
Yes.
Ms. Parliamis?
Yes.
Ms. Talarico?
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman?
Yes,
Motion passed.
very good. Moving right along to old business. Yes, Mr. McCarthy?
Just another update from the Legislative Liaison Committee, meeting scheduled on August 10th at 10 o'clock with Senator Gopal's office. He will be coming here. We'll be hosting him. So if you have anything specifically that you would like us to discuss or bring up for that meeting, please do not hesitate to let myself or the president know within 24 hours of that meeting, please. Additionally, I'm happy to report that we have also scheduled a meeting with Assemblywoman Julyl and Assemblywoman Paperno. That meeting is tentatively scheduled for September 21st. I believe at roughly 10 a.m., same location. So this is your notice as well of that meeting so that you have time to prepare for any questions, comments, or agenda items you would like brought to the attention of the Assemblywomen at that meeting.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Yes,
My question is for actually Mr. Taylor. I just wanted to be very clear that neither myself or any other member of the Board of Education have a duty to redact any Oprah requests, nor do we really have the opportunity to do redactions of Oprah requests. So can you please tell this proceeding who in fact redacts Oprah records? Because I think earlier you said like we redacted or things were redacted in various Oprah requests. So I'm not sure it was made apparent who the authority rests in. Who are the we that you're discussing.
Sure, perhaps you misheard me. I never stated that any individual board member or collective board members had an obligation to redact, review or respond to Oprah requests.
Thank you.
As you are elected officials, by law, the custodian of records, which is typically the board secretary, i.e. the business administrator, is responsible for receiving, reviewing and responding to Oprah requests, to compiling information throughout the district, whether it be from buildings and grounds, teachers, principals, et cetera, and responding within, I believe it's a 7-day period unless an extension is provided. The authority is vested in the board secretary to do so, and in certain instances upon consultation with legal counsel, which was done in the instance in question. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we move to, I'm sorry, Dr. Beal.
Just for old business, are we still going to divide up the policies as a board to review?
Yes, we are. I can answer that question.
Thank you.
Madam President. Yes, we are. I still have probably 3 sections left to divvy up for the board to then split out between all of us. So yes.
And we'll get ample time to to review.
What was the forgive me because I owe an apology to the board for this. What was the deadline that we set for that? Did we set a deadline?
I didn't think you said a deadline, Mr.
Okay, so I will report out on the next meeting the total number of policies and how they will be split up.
Thank you. We'll hear that then in August, but no, we did not set a deadline. New business.
Thank you, Sean.
Any new business?
Mr. Taylor.
Mr. McCarthy.
Do we, this question is probably directed towards Mr. Cass. Do we at this time have a total amount of money that has been spent in responding to the ethics complaint by the district?
At this point, so I can say, because it started at the end of June, we haven't received the actual invoices for those services yet. So
Okay, but they can be, this can be reported out and we'll be telling this so that we're aware of
Absolutely.
how much is spent.
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, Madam President, Mr.
Yes.
Cass referenced a new business. There is one resolution the board is being requested to take action on this evening. If I may just read it.
Certainly.
All right, so it's a resolution authorizing the limited waiver of attorney-client privilege between the Ocean Township Board of Education and former board attorney Michael Gross Esquire. Whereas a complaint was filed with the New Jersey School Ethics Commission against 2 board members of the Ocean Township Board of Education, captioned Grace Ann Tallarico versus Irene Gilman and Jeffrey Weinstein, docket number C-56-23. And whereas during the time of the events alleged in the aforementioned complaint, Michael Gross Esquire served as a board attorney for the Ocean Township Board of Education. Therefore, an attorney-client relationship existed. And whereas, the attorney-client privilege extends to the board as an entity rather than individual board members. And whereas the board has determined that it is necessary to waive this attorney-client privilege for a limited purpose, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Township of Ocean hereby waives its attorney-client privilege with former board attorney Michael Gross and or his law firm for the limited scope and purpose of Mr. Gross communicating with the attorney representing the respondents in the above captioned ethics complaint, David B. Rubin Esquire, regarding the issues raised in the aforementioned ethics complaint, and be it resolved that said waiver of attorney-client privilege shall extinguish upon the resolution of the case captioned Grace Ann Tallarico versus Irene Gilman and Jeffrey Weinstein, docket number C-56-23. We'll need a motion and a second and a roll call vote. And just please be reminded that the 3 board members involved, the complainant as well as the 2 respondents, should abstain from voting on this resolution. Thank you.
I'll make the motion.
Just a point of inquiry, we're allowed to ask questions.
Let's get a motion and second it and then questions or discussion.
Okay,
So it's the
thank
motion
you.
first.
Ask a point of inquiry at any time.
Second.
You can, but as soon as I got this, that's
All right,
one.
thank you.
Second.
Okay, so it's been properly moved, properly seconded. Now question. I'm sorry, sir.
Absolutely. So I just want to confirm, this is in sort of layman's terms, we're offering the opportunity for a former individual who served in your capacity, Mr. Taylor, to waive his rights so that we can try to help with the proceedings of this complaint in the hopes of reducing the funds that we are costing this district. Is that a correct assessment of that resolution?
Not totally. It's not his
Feel
right.
free to explain in the most layman's terms possible, especially so that the public can be aware of
It's,
what's
it's not Mr. Gross's right. It's your right as a board, as a client. The attorney-client privilege is sacrosanct and it's your right. And so this resolution will essentially waive that attorney-client privilege for the limited purpose, again, of Mr. Rubin being able to communicate with Mr. Gross regarding the allegations raised in the 60+ page complaint. It may or may not have the net effect of streamlining the issues. Again, I'm not involved in representing the district, the board in response to that matter. It may have that result, but it may not. I don't know. But again, for purposes of responding, a request was made, and I'm bringing it to the board to fulfill that, since I'll say, quite frankly, some of the complaints or allegations rather in the complaint may or may not deal with content that was reviewed in closed executive session and or in other privileged contexts. Thank you. You're welcome. Sorry to give you a lawyer answer, but it's okay.
Dr. Bill,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Ms. Paulamis.
Yes.
Ms. Talarico,
Abstain, please.
or should I say that?
No, you should.
Ms. Tortorella,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
I'll abstain.
Ms. Gilman,
Abstain.
motion passed.
Any other new business? Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for reading that. We move to our second public comment. Would anyone from the public like to comment on any item at this time? Ms. Conway, is there anyone in the queue?
Yes, we will go back to Mr. Chapman. Please
Okay.
go ahead, Mr. Chapman.
Thank you. I've been listening to some of these comments over the past couple of years. I'm a teacher, a veteran teacher, 17 years. And I can tell you that all I see tonight as a parent is drama, anger, and frustrations out of not just 3 people, out of an entire board. We pay taxes. We vote for you. We vote for your office. You're here to represent the district and hopefully sell those programs that we're talking about. We're not attracting kids to this district. We're not attracting parents to the district. We're pushing people out. This affects our taxes. It affects, which are skyrocketing. You know, you guys got your taxes back. If you live in the community, you know what I mean. So somehow this got to get fixed and fast, because all we hear is taxes going up. It doesn't help teachers. It's not going to help our students. And I hope you guys have this one thing in mind, our goal as a group, that your goal should be our students, our teachers, and our community. And I think everyone has to realize we vote for you. And right now, I don't know who I'm voting for in the next election. I hope we can fix this soon, because school starts in about a month. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman. Anyone else, Ms. Conway, in the queue?
No, Madam President, there are no further commenters.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
Thanks, everybody.